evening and welcome to All Things Manchester. My name is Tom Topping and I'm your host. In the studio I've got Rich and Rich on the equipment, and our Cox technology expert is Dave Smith. Thank you guys for the great work you do. Tonight we're talking about America 250 and Manchester's 4th of July fireworks. I've got Battalion Chief Matt LeRoux here. He's on the committee to bring the fireworks to town. And Matt, if you just want to give a little brief introduction on who you are and how you got involved with the fireworks committee, I'd appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me again.
It's a pleasure.
It's an honor to be here. So my name is Matt LeRoux. I've born and raised in Manchester. I've worked for the fire department for going on 19 years now. And a couple of years ago, I was asked to take the fire department liaison role on the Dutch Fogarty Fireworks Committee. So I've been liaisoning between the fire department, the police department, and the committee for the last couple of years. And I guess my public speaking got me, this is my second time on your show, so I feel very honored for that. But we just want to get the message out that, you know, the Dutch Fogarty annual Independence Day fireworks is coming up. And obviously with being the 250th anniversary of our country, we're very excited to amp up our game as well as, you know, we celebrate our country and our community.
Very good. Thank you for that. Now, how long has the fireworks been going on, and where do they take place? And if you could give us a little background on it, I'd appreciate it.
Yep. So this is our 41st year doing the fireworks. Different locations in Manchester, but this, for the last many years, it's been at the Manchester Community College at 60 Bidwell Street. Normally starts around 4 o'clock is when the doors open, and then there's a variety of activities, bands, live music, food, and then the fireworks go off at about 9:30.
What time do the festivities start?
So they start at 4 p.m., but we encourage people, if they want to get a good seat on the lawn at MCC by the band shell, to maybe get there a little bit earlier, because obviously we're expecting over 10,000 people this year for the fireworks.
It's my understanding that last year they had to close the parking lot at the college early. You can tell us.
Yes, there's over 1,900 parking spots at Manchester Community College, and they had to start shutting down parts of the parking lot normally around 6 o'clock because of the attendance for the amount of people that were in the parking lots.
Now, if people start to get there early and grab their, you know how it is, it's just like the beach. You want to get the best spot first,
Yeah.
lay out your blanket. And then once the official event starts, what is there to do? What kind of attractions?
So there's actually a tremendous, this is a very child-friendly event. There's 2 music acts going on. The first one is Feedback, which is a new up-and-coming band. They just won the Toad's Place Battle of the Bands last year. So they're going to be on from 4:30 to 6:30. And then Night Shift, which has been a big supporter of ours, they're a big supporter of veterans and first responders. They're kind of the headline act, and they're coming on at 7, and they're going to play till 9:15. But aside from the bands, we have 14 different food trucks that'll be at the event, and then we have a variety of child-friendly things to do. So face painters, this year we have magicians that'll be walking through the crowd, stilts, jugglers, and then there's a whole youth area for kids to come and interact with our leisure, family, and recreation staff as well from the town of Manchester.
So there must be no charge for the magicians as they walk through the audience?
Correct. So we actually were very fortunate to get a donation from the SBM, the Savings Bank of Manchester Charitable Foundation. They're a big supporter of ours, so that helps negate the cost to the people that are coming to the event. There is a collection in the parking lot that's a voluntary donation that money gets donated to charities throughout town as well.
And what time does the fireworks show actually start?
So we obviously have to wait till dark. So we have local singer Riley Pennington, who's going to be doing the national anthem right around 9:30, and then shortly thereafter the fireworks show will start. And my understanding is it's going to be one of the best that we've seen in a long time here in Manchester.
I've actually heard that too, that it's going to be a real powerful event in order to properly honor the America 250. What time do they end?
So it's normally about a 25 to 30-minute show. You know, the Fireworks Committee, in concert with the town of Manchester, really wanted to make this a special event obviously not just because of the 250th anniversary of our country. It's kind of a surreal moment when you think about the history of our country to be celebrating 250 years and everything that's gone on from the beginning. So this is a very big deal for not only for us, but for our country.
Now, the event includes parking and everything. Is there an admission fee?
So there's not an admission fee. There is a normally like $1 per head or $3 per carload as a voluntary donation. It's not one of those things that is going to be mandatory. But if you're able and have the financial ability to make a donation, that money is getting put right back into the community.
We've been talking for 7 or 8 minutes, and I forgot to ask the date.
So the date is July 11th, Saturday, July 11th at 60 Bidwell Street, and then the rain date is July 12th this year.
Okay, and it would be a mirror of the Saturday event?
Correct.
Okay.
So if there was inclement weather, the decision would be made, and then we would postpone it to the next day, and we would use all forms of social media to get that message out, so we didn't have people showing up after the event's been canceled.
Chief LeRoux, we talked about the parking already, but if the facility, the 1,900 spots at MCC were to get filled, where would other places to park be? Do you know?
So that's something that would be worked on in the moment, but there's a lot of no parking signs that go up
Right.
around the side streets. But that would be something, if all the parking spots did become full, that we would have to pivot and then start, providing satellite locations and then, getting people to the event at that time.
And then I bounce around a little bit. You've been through this with me before,
Yeah.
so you're used to it. In the event, now we just had a lost holiday weekend with the Memorial Day, and the parade ended up getting canceled.
Yes.
In the event that were to happen on the 11th and 12th of July, would there be further rain dates, or?
So that would be something that, knock on wood, has never happened. We have gone to the backup date a couple of times in my time on the fireworks committee, but that would be something we would have to obviously work with not only our pyrotechnics partners, but it would be changing the permit at the state of Connecticut. So it would not be something that would just happen like, hey, we're going to do it next weekend.
Okay.
It would probably be a decision by the fireworks committee. There's nothing currently planned other than those two dates.
Well, I appreciate your optimism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we were talking about the charge for the magicians and everything. It's my understanding there's also, you're going to have a dedicated kid or kid-friendly area.
Yeah, they're calling it the kid zone. So there's a variety of activities, bounce houses, and other activities for kids aside from the magicians and the face painting. Face painting has happened a couple of years in a row, and we're happy to bring it back again this year at no cost. So there will be face painting in the kid zone, and then along with the kid zone, there's also an area for local vendors. So something for the adults, crafts, and some homemade jewelry, and anything else that the vendors wanted to bring to sell.
Speaking specifically about the kid zone, though, and you mentioned the bounce house and the face painting, there's no ticket sales. Is there any event, the bounce house, is that all free?
It's all free,
Okay.
and it's through obviously the SBM Charitable
Right.
Foundation that provides the financial backing for that, but then also the Leisure and Family and Recreation through the town also staffs that with their staff members as well.
Well, I'll be talking to the Recreation and Leisure Department later on this year.
Okay, awesome.
Because they do a lot of great things
They do
out
a
in the
lot of great
community.
things in the community.
And it doesn't surprise me that this is one of them. One of the things that I hear asked a lot, I see it on social media and everything is, and it's not a good idea. Can I bring my dog or my moose or whatever pet I may have?
Yeah, so, obviously we can't tell people no, but it would be highly encouraged not to bring a pet. Obviously, being a pet owner myself, I know my dogs get freaked out with the fireworks in the neighborhood. I can't imagine them being, several hundred feet away from where the fireworks are being shut off. So we highly recommend that the people leave their dogs home. It's safer for them. It's better for their health as well. And it's just one of those, another thing that you don't want to have to keep track of, especially, somebody that's part of your family, like your pet.
I had 2 German Shepherds of my own one time, and boy, when the fireworks in the neighborhood started going off, I used to feel bad for my female in particular, right under the bed and trembling like
it's
this.
very
So,
traumatic for whether it be a dog or a cat,
Right,
it's very
right.
traumatic.
Or any animal.
Or any
I
animal.
can't, not a ferret. I can't
Yep.
see any animal enjoying this. We talked about parking. We talked about alternative parking. What about handicap parking?
So there is handicap parking. Obviously, you would need a state of Connecticut handicap parking pass. We would have the CERT team, the Community Emergency Response Team, through the town of Manchester. They would guide you into a handicap spot that's closer to the venue. The one thing that we can't provide is transportation down to the band shell. So for our citizens and visitors that need handicap parking, that will be provided, but they'll have to make their way with their friends and family to somewhere on the field to watch the fireworks and the music.
Okay, thank you. What about alternative means of transportation? And I'm thinking specifically of bicycles. Manchester's becoming a very bicycle-friendly
Yes,
community.
we are. So the bicycles, obviously, we encourage obviously green transportation and partnering with the Family Leisure and Recreation Services. We are becoming a very bike-friendly community. We would just ask if you are using a bicycle or any type of mobility device that once you get onto the grounds of the college, you would get off and walk through the crowds. There's going to be a lot of people there, and we definitely don't want children or young adults getting hit by not of anybody's fault, but just a child gets away from their parents and runs in front of somebody on a bicycle.
So basically, once you get there, it's a pedestrian event.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
And that's for the safety of everybody, and the bicyclists as well.
And then there's, I'm reading from my notes here,
Yeah.
there's some types of transportation that you shouldn't bring.
Yeah, so, we definitely don't want skateboards and hoverboards and some of the other scooters, whether they be the e-scooters or the manual scooters. They're just, they're kind of cumbersome, and, obviously the ground is uneven in certain spots there, going over speed bumps and stuff, and we don't want anybody to get injured. So we would recommend not using those types of devices for the fireworks.
Well, we just mentioned that our elderly and physically disabled guests are going to be walking around, and we don't want any problems with that either.
Absolutely.
What should I bring to the event? And I don't mean to make it sound like we can't bring anything.
No, it's it's a very open and friendly event. So just like you would bring to sit out at a baseball game or a sporting event, if you want to bring camping chairs or a blanket to sit on the ground with your family, and then anything that you would want to enjoy. We'll have plenty of food there, but obviously if it's a hotter day, the last couple of years it's been rather warm, so hydration is obviously important. There will be water and other beverages there for sale, but if you know you're going to be there for several hours, you're going to want to bring sunscreen, a hat, and something to keep yourself in the shade. The one thing we ask that you don't bring is like a pop-up tent or a canopy or an easy-up, because not only does that become if there was wind, it would be blowing into the crowd, and then also it obviously obscures the vision of the folks that are sitting behind you as well.
I've also in the notes here, it says no drones, grills, candles, personal fireworks, sparklers, lawn games, or weapons.
Correct. So obviously, having worked for the fire department for so many years, you want to leave the pyrotechnics to the professionals. We do not want somebody shooting off sparklers or their own, fireworks that are not legal in the state of Connecticut. Anything that flies in the air that's not part of a set display that's approved by the local and state fire marshal's office. We don't want that blowing off into the crowd and causing a problem or causing injuries to the visitors.
Now, let's say you get somebody like me who has a big truck, an F-250, and I actually have a rather large cooler. I can't just throw Coke or water in there and sell it myself.
No outside vendors are going to be allowed to sell any kind of product at the event. There's obviously going to be 14 food trucks, and then the vendors that are vetted and receive the okay from the fireworks committee to sell their parts and pieces at the event. But we don't want people selling ice cream out of coolers and stuff like that. That just becomes a health issue with the health department.
Now I wasn't able to attend last year, so I'm gonna ask what I think is a reality question. There's going to be a clearly delineated fun zone, kid zone. Is that where the food and drink that we can purchase will be, or is
So-
it spread throughout?
So there's actually two separate areas. So the fun zone is at the top of the ring, directly in a straight line from the band shell. So if you've been to Manchester Community College before, you have the band shell down at the bottom, and then there's a great lawn that goes up to the road. The fun zone's on the other side of the road, closer to the college itself, and then all of the food truck vendors are down the side road off to the side of the band shell. And we're still working on the configuration, but last year we found that was very successful. Everybody was able to go there. And it's also a good time to interact with people you haven't seen in years.
Right,
You're standing
right.
there to get a hot dog, and you look over and it's somebody you went to high school with. So like I said last year, this is just a great event, for the town of Manchester. And you run into a lot of people that you haven't seen in many years, or you run into people that you just saw 2 weeks ago at Highland Park Market or something like that. So
That's absolutely undeniable. It's a social event, perhaps one of
Absolutely.
the biggest social events of the year, because we are all in one confined area.
Yep.
Can I bring my own cooler?
So you can bring your own small cooler. That's not checked as you pull into the parking lot. Obviously, we want people to be responsible. So you wouldn't be bringing like a cooler like the size of the bed of your truck and then dispensing stuff out of it. But within reason, a small cooler, igloo or something like that is more than appropriate.
If I bring my own cooler, that means I'm going to have my own trash. My suggestion would be that you take what you bring, you take, but will there be?
There'll be trash receptacles, both recycling and garbage cans. But I think that's a great approach. Just like if you were to go camping, pretty much bring back what you bring in, so that way, because those garbage cans do get rather full, and it ends up being the committee members that are helping empty the garbage into dumpsters to keep the event obviously clean and sanitary.
Now, I always, when I do go, I tend to stay late because, like we were talking, it is a social event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going by my memory here. It seems to me there's one way in down at the bottom where the old campus was, and then maybe two ways in up at the new campus towards the Cougar Drive side of the. Is that so? When we're leaving,
Yeah, so all of the traffic dispersion is handled by the Manchester Police Department.
Okay, good.
And the CERT team, which is a joint venture between the police and the fire department. So they already have that all pre-designated how, they turn the road, they shut it down by the old Bogners, and they create 2 lanes out that hopefully expedites the traffic out. The one thing we would want to tell folks is just be patient. Obviously we're all there for the same reason. We're all there to celebrate our country and to have a good time. But obviously, as you're leaving the college, it may take a little bit longer, but that's all kind of part of the experience, if you will.
you do have a point when you talk about the heat from the last couple of years. I was there one year when we were doing the wall, and if I remember correctly, there was a heat situation. Someone overheated.
Yes.
Now, if I need medical attention, is there designated areas? Or?
So there is. So there will be both. This is what makes it such a good, safe event. Is there's both police, fire, and then part of the fire department is we provide the paramedic service for the whole town. So there will be 2 fire department paramedics there as well, and then also an ambulance from the ambulance service of Manchester at the event. So they're typically at the top of the ring road, directly next to the kids' fun zone.
Okay.
So, and all of the members have radios. So if there is an event going on, there's a direct line with dispatch up at the police department. So if you call 911 and say, I was stung by a bee down by the band shell, they direct it right to the 2 paramedics that are there. And then around 6 o'clock, that gets expanded, and the fire department adds some more staffing for the event, not only for the medical side, but also for obviously ember control. Once the fireworks do go off, there'll be an engine company and a utility vehicle there to help police any small fires that may start from the fireworks.
Okay, because naturally, and I'm thinking here out loud, as the day goes on, not only is the amount of people that get there going to increase, the amount of people that are coming is going to start out slow and build up to a
Correct.
crescendo of some type.
Yep, it's normally like a small trickle, and then right around 5, 6 o'clock, you start to see a lot of people kind of coming into the campus. So normally by like 8:30, 9 o'clock, that entire lawn is filled. and then people end up sitting on the road or on the other side of the road. So it's a great event, and the good thing is there's already plans in place from both the police and the fire department to handle the influx of visitors to our community.
Now, is there, I know there'll be people there that understand what's where, but will there be like a marked information booth or where you can go to where the committee members might be to answer
so
questions?
there'll be maps at certain access points into the event. There's also all the CERT members, which will have maps. So, and any of the police, firefighters, or the committee members, if you need advice or, hey, how do I get here? Anybody in uniform or anybody that, is walking around with a radio has that information, and they can help guide you, or at least get somebody that can give you that information. So
This is as much for my own edification
Yeah.
as the people watching. We talk about CERT like everyone knows what it is. If I'm not mistaken, that stands for Community Emergency Response Team.
correct.
Okay, are they going to be wearing an insignia or a vest of some sort?
So they'll all be in their CERT uniform, like it's a lime green. So obviously they're going to be doing traffic. So our concern is we want to make sure that they're visible not only during the day, but once it gets dark, we want them to be visible, much like our police officers are when they're doing like a road job or something on the side of the road. So the CERT team not only collects the donations in the parking lot, they help keep the traffic organized, and they work in conjunction with the police department once the fireworks are over to get the streamline of vehicles out onto the roads again and get everybody home safe.
Will there be any musical accompaniment, or is it going to be a broadcast on TV or anything like that?
So I'm not sure of the broadcasting, but there will be, for the fireworks, there'll be a musical accompaniment, and that's during the fireworks. For the event leading up to the fireworks, like I said, we have 2 great bands this year. We have
Kenny
Feedback,
Hicks, yep.
and then we have Night Shift, which is an awesome band, and they all cover, I guess I feel old because I know most of the songs now, but it's all great music that's family friendly,
me too.
and
I'm older than you.
yeah. So, but it's a great thing, and obviously I'd be remiss without mentioning that this was started as a volunteer event with Captain Dutch Fogarty from the South Manchester Fire Department. And this was something that came through a conversation that he had at town hall with then town manager Robert Weiss about we really need to bring fireworks to Manchester, and it started as a grassroots thing and has grown into this great event every
I
year.
appreciate you bringing that up, because that was going to be my first question. Who is Dutch Fogarty?
So, and his son Jim is still on the committee. He's the master of ceremonies for the last couple of years. We're fortunate that he's going to be the master of ceremonies again. So it is something to be proud of, that this is something that came out of just a conversation in a coffee room, and now we're in our 41st year.
Well, just to make you feel a little bit better, you talk about the 41 years it's been going on. Do you remember when it was at Mount Nebo?
So I remember talking to you last year, and then I went back and actually I went to the Historical Society and on Pine Street and actually saw some pictures of it being at Mount Nebo. And I remember you talking about last year about how they were used to shoot fireworks at each other.
Yeah,
we
the
won't
tanks.
be doing that this year.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's such a great thing to get the town history, and that's why it's important to keep these kind of events going.
The red tank and the blue tank.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we stayed. It wasn't explosive or anything.
Right.
It was comical.
And like, we wouldn't be able to do this without the donation of our longtime sponsors. So the Savings Bank of Manchester Charitable Foundation, Highland Park Market, the Ambulance Service of Manchester, Tierney's Funeral Home, and Simon Eyes USA, and then All American Waste provides the cans as well as a financial donation as well. So this is really something that this brings the community together, and it's one of those things that it's the volunteers and the donations that help support this program.
Something that I know that you might not know, this is information, is we do have some gift certificates to places like Buffalo Wild Wings this year that they're going to be giving away during the day. So if you get there early, you're going to want to pay attention to what's going on stage, because we are going to have, and I think they come in increments of $5, $10, and $20 gift certificates for local restaurants and places like that, so that people there's an interactive element
Yeah,
to the early
absolutely.
part.
And that's what makes the fireworks great is you get all community members and community partners, whether it be the local restaurants, that they want to be a part of this because it is such a great event for the community. It's their way of helping give back to the great town of Manchester.
I'm proud to live in Manchester
Absolutely,
because of
I am as
events
well.
like this. I know
Yep.
you are. You've risen up to the ranks
Yep.
to become a battalion chief as
Yep.
an employee of the town, and I'm proud of our fire department.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
I think Manchester is a wonderful community because of events like this. Because I know most of the members on the committee,
Yep.
and they're good people. They're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid for it. I think there's a meeting Thursday night, if I'm
There
not
is. Yep.
mistaken. And you guys meet throughout, not quite throughout the year, but I know, if I'm not mistaken, you start in September or October and at least have a wrap-up and a preview of the coming year.
Yeah, so this, the volunteers that are on the committee, led by Chief Bob Bykowski and Calvin Harris from the Leisure, Family, and Recreation, they're the co-chairs of the committee. But these events, like when this ended last year, within a week there was an email like we need to step up our game for next year because this is a big year for not only for the town but for the United States of America. So this is something that it's kind of like a passion, like a act of love for the committee members to give back to the community.
I think that's just the greatest thing. Is there anything you'd like to say? We're about out of time.
Yeah,
again.
no, I appreciate, we already have the dates for next year. So
Yep.
July 10th of 2027 would be the 42nd year. But we ask that everybody come out and support the town of Manchester in this fireworks. It's going to be a great show. Just fingers crossed that the weather holds up. But if not, we always have that rain date. But please come out and support all of our sponsors and all of the bands and, strap yourself in for a great fireworks show.
For those of you from out of the Manchester immediate area, we have viewers down in the center part of the state and Rocky Hill and Meriden. Manchester State College is on, is it Bidwell Street?
60 Bidwell Street.
60 Bidwell Street in Manchester, Connecticut. That's 06040. Chief, now I'll shake your hand.
Mr. Topping, thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes,
Always a
sir.
pleasure. You make me smile. You make me laugh, which is a little unprofessional, but I'm good with that.
That's okay.
I'd like to thank you for tuning in today as well. I hope to see you at the fireworks. The chief and his cohorts on the volunteer fireworks committee have gone to great lengths this year to make Manchester's fireworks a spectacular display, well worth the drive from anywhere in Connecticut and beyond. I'll be there, you'll be there, and I'm sure
Absolutely.
there's going to be at least 9,999 of our friends there. And one thing we're going to ask you not to bring is your pets. And we will be talking to you again soon. Thank you very much.